Hello everybody, here we are back again for another video, this time related to the Zodiac. So what I want to explain first is that in the Zodiac, you have young souls because these are the first signs, right? Like Aries is the first sign, and then we have Taurus, and then we have Gemini, and then we have old souls, which are the last signs. In this case, we would have Pisces, Aquarius, Capricorn, right? So I was reading about how in physics and biology, right, we have, for example, Isaac Newton and Charles Darwin. And well, these guys, scientists, they revolutionized hard sciences, right? So a lot of engineers, a lot of basically people that are involved in biology, doctors, right, physicians, people like this will like still use their theories or their conceptualizations, right? And what I found that, well, this was interesting, which I found out that their signs are actually Aquarius and Capricorn, right? Like Charles Darwin is an Aquarius or was an Aquarius. Isaac Newton was a Capricorn, right? And of course, we have Albert Einstein, which is considered one of the most intelligent people that ever lived, right? And he was a Pisces. So these three people were like the last of the zodiac signs, right? Old souls. We have, for example, I have here a couple of examples. Galileo Galilei, right? He was an Aquarius. We have Johannes Kepler, also contributed to the hard sciences, right? A Capricorn. We have Copernicus. Copernicus was involved with the Copernicus revolution, where before people would think that the Earth was the center of the universe, right, and that the sun rotated around the Earth, when in reality it was the other way around, right? The sun is in the center of the universe, or in the center of the solar system, and the Earth is actually going around. So people would think that he was crazy back in the day, right? Like, man, that guy is crazy, which I find interesting right now with science, how when people will say, oh yeah, man, this is scientifically proven, which actually I was just listening to a Jordan Peterson video, and he was talking about how people will think that nowadays anything that's scientific is like 100% real, right? Like it's dogmatic, and people think that there's no other way to see things, or there's no other way to view things, right? When in reality they could be wrong. Also, like the discovery of America, like how before, well, I may talk about that in another video to not get into it right now. But okay, back to this. Copernicus was an Aquarius, right? And Stephen Hawking was also one of those old souls. He contributed also to the hard sciences, and he's a Capricorn. Okay, so these are people that contributed to the hard sciences, right? And they're older people. They're older in the spiritual sense, right? Because their signs are some of the last in the zodiac. Now, while I was researching this, while I was looking at different people, Immanuel Kant came up, right? And I know that Kant is a philosopher, and he's a Taurus, and that's when it struck me, right? That's when I was like, oh, okay. And then you have theoretical people, right? Like more abstract people that are actually in the beginning of the zodiac, right? Like Tauruses, like Arieses. And I have here like a bunch of examples, right? Like there's Freud, Sigmund Freud, right? The father of psychoanalysis. There's Karl Marx, right? With his economic theory, which I'm not really sure. I've read The Capital, but I haven't finished it. And I'm not really sure. I mean, he was talking about money and economics. But back to the Zizek Peterson debate, people will say that people that are against Marx don't really know Marx, right? But I know he was talking about economy. So these guys are more theoretical, right? There's Rene Descartes, who was also a philosopher, right? Arius, Machiavelli, right? Machiavelli, sorry, and Robert Greene, Tauruses, and also theoretical, right? In the sense of, I think you should do this like this, right? But they're not involved in hard sciences, right? These are more of the soft or social sciences, the humanitarian sciences, if you will. Salvador Dali, a Taurus, also, right? Painter, more aesthetic, if you will, more on the side of poetic contribution, right? More philosophical. We have, of course, Leonardo da Vinci, which I think is the greatest example. He was involved in thinking a lot of things, right? Just thinking about many types of possible creations. Like I think he was the one that first kind of developed the airplane, or what a rough draft of what the airplane would look like, the helicopter, a military tank, right? So he just had like all these ideas, and these people are more of artists, I would say, right? Than the ones I mentioned in the beginning, like Charles Darwin, Isaac Newton, who were more concerned with more serious things, more practical things, right? Which I think, in a positive sense, they lack imagination, but that's good because they're able to seriously tackle on like real life, practical, tangible issues, right? Whereas these other people, like more of artists, philosophers, they're able to tackle on like more abstract ideas, right? More. So I think it depends where you fall in that spectrum. You're either a young soul or an old soul, and that's to be taken into consideration also when you interact with other people, right? It's something that you should consider at the moment of what you do, what you create, how you look at life, the types of things that you're into, your contribution to society, and whatever you're doing at those moments. So that's all I got for this video. I hope you liked it, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.